following Travis. Now I have to follow Travis and Stephen and Bailey. Good job, y'all. I really want to, there were so many things I'd like to say, and those of you who know me well, you're sitting there going, okay, Dr. Barnett, don't tell us everything you're thinking, because I get started and it's just so hard to stop. I have been here so long that I'm thinking this is probably my 27th, 28th time to say hello to you, the new William Woods people. I tried to think, what would you really want to hear? And then I went back and I looked at some of my recent messages, and I received a couple of emails from some parents. And I thought, you know, this pretty much tells you what it's like. Because these emails were from parents whose kids were where you were 4 years ago, and they are now out in the world. So let me just start with those. But before I do that, I want to introduce you to some key members of the William Woods administration. These are people that I want you to know so that you know their name and their title, and when you see them, you know who they are and what they do, and maybe sometimes they can help you. Let me start with Scott Gallagher, who's our University Vice President. Scott. Mike Westerfield, and Mike is the Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs. Mike. Amy Sapp is the Vice President and Dean of the Undergraduate College. Betsy Tutt is Vice President and Dean of the Graduate College. Benita Mitchell is Vice President and Dean of Student Life. You've seen her run around a lot today. Kathy Groves, who I'm sure you've all met at one point, is the Vice President of Enrollment Services. Julie Ellsworth, who you all really need to know, is our Chief Financial Officer. Another individual many of you have already met is Jason Batoni, Director of Athletics. Jim Long, our Chief Information Officer. Sean Hull, Director of University Advancement. John Fougere is the Vice President of Strategic Communications. This person you really want to know. This is Kenda Schindler. She's the Executive Assistant to the President. So she will determine whether or not you get in the next office. So be nice to her. I'd also like for y'all to meet Brian Mock. He is the President's Office Graduate Assistant. So Brian. Brian is a recent graduate of William Woods with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and he's currently earning his Master's in Business Administration. He was active in fraternity life. He also participated as the men's golf team for 4 years. Brian and Jamie, another one of our graduates, on the golf team. And I told Eddie I guess it was last night, I said, they're coming out Friday to play or going to the golf course. And I said, for what? And he said, I know those two kids. I've got to at least be able to hit it straight. So we in 1973, 73. And I was the chair of the business department. I said, I'll stay here 5 years. I obviously didn't do it. And people today ask me, why did you stay in one place so long? I mean, you spent your life there. It's the people. So you take advantage of meeting us, working with us, talking with us, learning from us. You'll never have a better opportunity. The people here are just great. Not only the faculty and staff, but you. You're going to be one of the stars. I tell them, the graduating seniors, when I visit with them, you're going to go out there and you're going to do something great. And when you do, and it's going to be really good, and when you do, and you're on television, be sure you wear your William Woods name tag. And you know what? We have some major people out there, graduates, and I see them. I saw one on television the other day, Jahnae H. And I was talking with Eddie, and I said, look, it's a William Woods graduate. And there she was on Fox News several times. So we don't know where you're going to be or what you're going to be doing. But we're going to see you and never forget where you came from or how you got there. I always think it's good to be reminded of the differences that we do make in the lives of our students. Just such a reminder appeared recently on LinkedIn, and it provides a little inspiration and reminds us all of why we are here. Why are the faculty here? Why are the staff here? Why am I here? This was from a parent after our May commencement address this year. It said, Dear Dr. Barnett, I'm emailing you today to thank you for 2 reasons. The first is the unbelievable, out-of-the-park commencement speaker that you brought in for the undergraduate ceremony last weekend, Saturday, May 6th. Wow, what a talk. Having 4 kids, my wife and I have sat through many commencements. I seem to recall thinking that they were all pretty good at the time, but I can't say I remember a single point, word, face, or name from any other of the keynote speakers or students that we've heard. In stark contrast, I will carry so much of what Jimmy Wayne, your commencement speaker, had to say. For the rest of my life, I will remember his words. His personal life story was compelling, humorous, poignant, thoughtful, deep with meaning, and had life significance. For those of you who do not know Jimmy Wayne, he's a country singer from Nashville, but he had a life story that's unbelievable. And he's written several books. Walk to Beautiful was one where he tells his life story. And I had seniors sitting in the audience, and they were listening to him. Afterwards, several of them came up to me and said, you know, I thought I'd had some problems and some concerns. I'm blown away to hear this man's life story and to see where he is today. If you get a chance, Google him, read his book. It was difficult, but it was fabulous. Okay, the parent went on and said, I love that you explained that you asked Jimmy Wayne if he could give a talk in 10 minutes or so. That's what I usually say for commencement, 10 to 12 minutes. And he said to me, nope, can't do it. But I can tell you one thing, my address will be the best one you've ever heard, period. And I looked at that email and I thought, man, what gumption. And I thought, you know, I'm gonna take a chance. So we continued emailing, and I said, yes, okay, come on, do it. The parent says, I have no idea how long Jimmy Wayne spoke, 45, 50 minutes maybe, but it seemed like 10. We could have listened for twice the time that he took to talk with us. What a superb choice. Further, I love how you met him in an airport by chance. I spend a lot of times in the airport. He said you struck up a conversation and ended up with your commencement speaker. He said, now secondly, I'm long overdue in thanking you for your leadership at William Woods. William Woods has been such a wonderful place for our daughter to spend her time getting her degree. I can only say that every time as a parent we were on campus, from our very first visit the summer after her junior year, to the overnight campus visits the fall of her senior year, and every visit after, the positivity was just tangible on your campus. Everyone at William Woods has a spring in their step. So please accept the thanks of a very grateful dad. Oh, and mom too. By the way, he said, I'm super impressed by the LEAD program. I thought it was sheer genius to combine the simplicity of a significant financial reward with the easy within reach of process of attending several events each semester. Well done, he said. You have a couple of really big fans. So as a parent, I think it's great for you to hear what a previous parent, after the 4 years, thinks and had to say. And as a student, I hope your parents will feel the same way. I received one shortly after that said, Dr. Barnett, I just came back from an amazing visit on your campus. I feel the need to let you know personally how amazing your student body is. Not only your student body, but the faculty and staff, everyone you have assembled there. We were completely blown away with just how truly great everyone at William Woods University is. Now, I was preparing myself and your future student for the idea that our first visit would probably not meet our expectations, or it might even be a big disappointment. Well, was I wrong? This visit blew our expectations out of the water. So again, your parent may have actually written that because this was a student who was coming to visit, to stay with us for the next 4 years. So I shared that with you mostly as parents, but I also want to share one with you as students. And I was trying to decide this morning whether or not it's an essay, and whether or not I wanted to read it to you. And at the time, 2 young men who happened to be William Woods students came in the office, and they're returning students, and they just said, we're just here, we wanted to say hi, we're back, see how your summer was, and check in. And I said, okay, sit down. And so we talked for a few minutes, and I said, I'm trying to decide if I should read this essay. One of them repeated something from the essay, and the other one repeated something else. And I said, it's been 3 years for one of you since you've heard this. Do you remember? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to give it to you this afternoon. It's a very favorite of mine. Now, it was written, and keep all this in your mind, way before, technology. It was written in 1990, and that was the year that I became president. Now, it won first prize in the humor category of the 1990 Wonder Years. He entitled it Wonder Years. It's written by Hugh Gallagher. He was a high school senior, and he responded to an application sent by a college. Now, many of you undergone some of these, we've asked you questions, we've asked you to think about something, et cetera, et cetera. How would you answer this? Well, this was sent by a college, and this kid must have spent agonizing hours answering this question. The question was, in order for the admissions staff at our college to get to know you, the applicant, I don't like that, that's not your name, but the applicant better, we ask that you answer the following questions. Are there any significant experiences you have had or accomplishments you have realized that have helped to define you as a person? Now, as you're sitting there, think about that. How would you answer that? Are there any significant experiences that have helped to define you as a person? I can think of a few things I probably would have said. He wrote, I am a dynamic figure. I'm often seen scaling walls and crushing ice. I have been known to remodel train stations on my lunch breaks, making them more efficient in the area of heat retention. I translate ethnic slurs for Cuban refugees. I write award-winning operas. I manage time efficiently. Occasionally, I tread water for 3 days in a row. Now come on, y'all, you can laugh. Who treads water for 3 days in a row? But think about, would you have had this imagination? I woo women with my sensuous and godlike trombone playing. I love it. This is the one that one of the kids remembered. I can cook 30-minute brownies in 20 minutes. I am an expert in stucco, a veteran in love. I mean, come on, he's 18 years old. And an outlaw in Peru. Using only a hoe and a large glass of water, I once single-handedly defended a small village in the Amazon basin from a horde of ferocious army ants. I like this one. I played bluegrass. I was scouted by the Mets. He's 18. I am the subject of numerous documentaries, and when I'm bored, I build large suspension bridges in my backyard. I'm an abstract artist, a concrete analyst, and a ruthless bookie. Critics worldwide swoon over my original line of corduroy evening wear. Ugh, corduroy evening wear. I don't perspire. I don't guess he sweats either. I bat 400. My floral arrangements have earned me fame in international botany circles. Even children trust me. I can hurl tennis rackets at small moving objects with deadly accuracy. I once read Paradise Lost, Moby Dick, and David Copperfield in one day, and I still had time to refurbish an entire dining room that evening. I'd like to hire him. I have performed covert operations for the CIA. Oh, I sleep at least once a week. While on vacation in Canada recently, I successfully negotiated with a group of terrorists who had seized a small bakery. The laws of physics do not apply to me. I can balance, weave, dodge, frolic, and my bills are all paid. I'd like to meet this young man. Years ago, I discovered the meaning of life, but I forgot to write it down. I have made extraordinary 4-course meals using only a toaster oven. I breed prize-winning clams. I mean, who thinks of all this? I have won bullfights in San Juan, cliff diving competitions in Sri Lanka, and spelling bees at the Kremlin. I have played Hamlet. I have performed open heart surgery. And I have spoken to Elvis. And some of the times when y'all have time and you're walking by my office, stop in and I'll tell you about the time I truly did speak with Elvis. So I have one on him. But he says, I have not yet gone to college. So I love that. I mean, well, first of all, I love his imagination. But when you think of all of that, he's done all these things, but he realizes the next step he's about to take. I have not yet gone to college. So welcome to you and to all that you can accomplish while you're here. I would say, my recommendation, your academics are first. Certainly that's a priority, but that's just one reason why you're here and one thing you should take away from here. I think you should, please listen, take care of your total self. You're going out on your own, you're making some major decisions. Take care of yourself. Intellectually, socially, spiritually, and healthfully. You're here to learn. You're here to learn in the classroom. You're here to learn in the residence halls. Perhaps in the athletic programs. Maybe through league and through participation of all of our many organizations. When I think back, way back, when I was sitting where you are, and my husband as well, we both selected different undergraduate colleges, so I didn't know him until graduate school. But we both were extremely active in our respective schools. I participated in everything I possibly could. To the point, my first semester, back then, your grades went to your parents, not you. And my grades came in and my parents called me in and my dad said, got your grades. I said, oh, okay, good. He said, let's go to the dining room and talk. And I thought, oh Lord, not the dining room. Because I knew with that name, we're gonna have a conversation. So I sat down and he said, let me tell you what your grades are. Now they weren't that bad. But he said, it's obvious to me that you have now met everyone in college and your social life has been fulfilled. So let's talk now about academics. I said, okay. But he was right. I was doing everything. And I encourage you to do as much as you can. Again, you know, my husband, but he was in a fraternity. He played football at Ole Miss. He was very active in other organizations. I did the same thing in a different school, but we got it all in, and you can do it. You can do it, and you learn from all of those activities, and they're with you throughout life. I know that as soon as we leave here today, we have recruitment, and that you're going to go through and meet and visit with some new people, and I would encourage you to attend the fraternity and sorority open houses with your connections group. Actually, it could be your first lead point, but it will also give you the opportunity to meet new people. It's not necessary, I mean, you're going to be making a decision. Don't decide that I don't want to be in a fraternity or sorority until you've had the opportunity. It's the same thing with many of our organizations. So look at them, learn from them, and participate. I will say to you, and I've said this over the years many, many times, I have worked with many people in my 45 years at William Woods, and I had a life before that. I have never had to release someone because they didn't have the ability to do the job. I had to release them because they didn't know how to get along with people. They didn't know about teamwork. They were just so strict in one area. They didn't spread out. That's one of the reasons I came up with the LEAD program, so you can communicate about these things. So do it. Take advantage of it and take care of yourself. And now I want to talk for just a second. Travis read a letter, and I'm going to read a letter to you. But let me set the stage. When I was where you are, we went to school with suitcases, and that was it. We didn't have microfridge and all that stuff. We had our clothes in a suitcase. My suitcase happened to be blue. My luggage was blue, very light powder blue. And when I left high school, at that time, my home was about 4 or 5 blocks from the high school. And so, I don't tell everybody this, but when I was in high school, I was a majorette. So I was in the band. And so you could hear what was going on from my home. You could hear it. When I went to college with my blue suitcases, and I opened them to unpack, there was a letter, and it was from my mother. She said, last year, the excitement of a new school year was quickened by the sounds of music coming from the band practice field. We knew where you were. This year, we shut our ears against it, knowing that the notes will be sour somehow, because something and someone is missing. Last week, there was the final round of parties and get-togethers. This week, there's only the task of restoring the order, which was once a nagging issue, but is now only a reminder that the creator, it would be me, of that disorder is no longer here. Yesterday, the house bustled with pleasant confusion, chatter, laughter. Today, the rooms echo hollowly, as if the noise had been packed away in the blue luggage. This is the beginning of the end of a beautiful relationship. No longer will a beloved daughter be a nightly occupant of the bookcase bed with its array of stuffed animals, and did I have stuffed animals? Photographs and mementos of wonderful times. There will be no lessening of our mutual love and affection, but there will be a difference. Today, you went to college to brighten in some measure the lives of others who did not have the pleasure of seeing you grow from a tiny baby into a delightful young woman. With you go our prayers that a loving Father will watch over you as you go about the business of getting an education, and our hopes that you will remain unselfish, loving, good, and kind. Your mother. Every year when I read that letter, I go home and I look up and I say, I've tried to do exactly what you expected along the way. I may have faltered a little bit here and there, but I always came back. So as parents, I think you understand and you feel some of the same sentiments that was expressed here. I would say to you, because your parents want you to remain loving, good, and kind, and unselfish, and become the best person you possibly can. Above all else, be your own person. Be your own person. Not always who you are today, but who you see yourself as tomorrow. We all know that college is a way of putting you with people who would encourage you to make choices that you would not otherwise make on your own. It also has a way of putting you with people who hold your same values. It's a wonderful experience. Loved it. Graduated 3 times, cried every time I graduated. I didn't want to leave. My father thought I was going to be a professional student. Like, are you ever going to get a job? It's great. But it can be life-changing. It is life-changing. Remember, not only here, but especially here, the choices you make in your youth will stay with you a lifetime. Much more so than even in my day. There are no secrets anymore, you know that. The choices you make will stay with you a lifetime. I had a young woman who was a graduate. She was applying for a position, and it was a great position, and they were down to 3. She was the top choice. The prospective employer, had called me, did I know her, and he was checking references on. And then it was thought that she would be the recipient. He called me back. He said, Dr. Barnett, do you do Facebook? No, I don't, he said. She just lost the position of what we saw on Facebook. So again, I say to you, the choices you make stay with you a lifetime. Think of that when you make your own choices. I think it's great that you're all here. My congratulations. Your college years are wonderful years. But the best college experience simply prepares you for what's next. So you will hear me say throughout your time here, as much as I loved college, if these are, people say to you, they're the best years of your life. If they are, we have failed. These should be great years, but they should be preparing you so that the rest of your life is the best of your life. That is our job. We take it seriously, and I think we're pretty successful. So I think you'll find throughout your time that William Woods has many suggestions and recommendations. Talk to us, let us hear from you. We can't address things if we don't know. Communicate. Get to know us. Take advantage of the small atmosphere. And as I said, you'll have a few rules and regulations along the way, but they're very few. However, I do have 2 rules. So listen carefully. 1, don't park in my reserved parking space. If you do, I get very unhappy. And number 2, don't pass me on the campus without speaking. And I am serious. Do not do that. Speak. Be awake. Be alert. Take advantage. to the fact that you get to know. So many of your friends won't even know that they have a college president. So stop, talk, say hi. Let us know how we're doing. Do y'all have any questions? Are you ready for the next step? All right, get ready, smile, enjoy, breathe, and I'm going to ask Amy Dittmer if she will pass on some information to share with you this afternoon. Amy, you're here.